Hi everyone, welcome to Reality Scoop. This is my recap of Sister Wives Season 14, Episode 9. The episode is called This Land is Our Land, or Hers. In this episode, Kody talks behind Meri's back on camera after the picnic from hell in Coyote Pass. And there's a lot of miscommunication about trees of all things. So let's get to it. But first, I'm just going to ask that you guys please like and subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Thank you so much. So the episode begins and basically Kody and the wives all show up to Coyote Pass, each in their own car, by the way, which I think is weird. Why wouldn't they just kind of like all hop in one or something? They're always in all separate cars. But anyways, they're at Coyote Pass. They like being there because it reminds them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At one point, they will live on that land all together as a family, and it makes them feel good. Kody brought items to kind of make a little picnic out of it. He brought pizza and water, and they're all cute and they're all together on a picnic blanket. But then, quickly the conversation has to go negative because there's so much bad stuff happening to them. I guess Robyn is getting ready to move out of her rental, and Meri announces that she has to move out of her rental too. So it's this move palooza constantly with them. Then the conversation takes a turn and they start talking about who's going to live where in Coyote Pass, like which plot of land. And you can see that family politics are at play. Some of the wives have their plots pretty solid. Like Kody knew, like, this is where Janelle's gonna live. We're actually sitting like where her breakfast nook is probably gonna be. And then one of the wives goes, dun dun dun, Meri, where do you want to be? And Meri says, oh, Kody told me I'm gonna be in the back there in the trees. And immediately, Kody's probably thinking to himself, like, oh shoot, like I screwed up because he basically had canceled Meri out of that tree lot because of an offhand comment she had made last episode about it being dark in the house she currently lives in because of the trees. So he thought, oh, she's not going to be in the trees anymore. So Robyn's going to be in the trees. So Robyn basically is confused now because she's like, oh, I thought I was in the trees. And then Meri says, oh, then I don't know, then never mind. I'll just go live in Parowan in Utah, which is probably, to be honest, where she's going to want to go after she watches this episode. And now the ladies are done eating, and after all that, they just go a little bit up on the hill so they can see the whole property. And things are starting to feel tense. And I think Robyn has like anger building up because she realizes that she's just been like thrown around, like whatever Meri doesn't want, she needs to take it. And she's getting kind of bitter about it. And Meri is getting really annoyed because like clearly Kody did not listen to her. She said she wasn't sure she wanted to be in the trees. She doesn't want to be in the dark area of the trees. So what the heck? Anyways, as they climb this hill, you just feel the tension more and more, and then they start arguing more on the hill. They're basically talking in circles about how Robyn just feels jerked around and Meri is super indecisive about the trees and she just keeps talking about how she's indecisive about the trees. And Robyn's had enough. She actually walks down the hill and gets in her car and leaves. She says she has to go find a rental. And while she's leaving, Meri says, like, well, Robyn, like, can I say my side of the story? And Robyn's like, not right now, which is like the least sisterly moment of like Robyn's sister wives career. She was like, she just could not hear her. Like, she just had to leave, get out of there. And Meri decides, like, okay, well, I'm going to leave too. I have a rental to find too. And she walks down the hill and leaves. And Janelle and Christina just like, well, this is awkward. And this is what I thought was really interesting because Robyn fake left. She left, but then later in the scene, she comes back for more, I guess, shit talking against Meri. because this is what's about to happen. And that's when Kody goes unhinged about Meri. And his anger just takes off. He says that he's been dealing with her for 30 years. And it's like, oh no, go on one foot, go on the other foot. Like she never knows what she wants. And he's doing like the Meri dance. And Kody says that Meri will only be happy once all the wives bow down to her feet. And he even says that Meri has mistreated Christine and Janelle since day one. And I guess he would know, he was there, he's probably seen it. But I'd never heard him say that before. So, very interesting turn of events. Meri and Kody, pretty sure your marriage is over at this point. And Dunzo, Meri, pack your bags and move to Parawan where you really want to be, because this is done, guys. And if it wasn't done then, it's going to be done when she sees this episode. Poor Meri, her Instagram's going to be like full of those like quotes, inspirational quotes like they have been. And I always find that sad. Anyways, so while Kody is having an unhinged moment, Robyn's like, stop, like, don't say that. But I think she's just trying to be like politically correct. I think they all kind of probably agree with Kody on this. Next, we have Christine and Janelle, and they are going for a hike in Flagstaff to talk about how horrible that picnic was on Coyote Pass. And they just kind of want to like dish it out because that's what you do. After a big drama like that, you get your best girlfriend and you go somewhere and you talk about it. So Janelle and Christine, I think, have like the strongest bond of the whole family at this point. They're so different, but you know what? They get along. The next day, Kody and the wives decide to have like a powwow over at Christine's house. And so all the wives show up, and I guess Cody's running late or something because, yeah, things get awkward. Like the wives are just kind of like sitting there awkwardly to the point where Meri's feeling so uncomfortable. She's like, Christine, call Kody, please. And Kody gets in that house and he's like, ho ho ho, I had this great meeting. What a great day. And he's saying how, like, their lawyer is saying they have such great land at Coyote Pass. They should just build houses and sell those and become rich. Ha ha ha. And, like, Robyn and Christine are like, yeah, I don't think the lawyer and I are on the same page on this. We're actually supposed to live there, so. Then Robyn apologizes for her role in whatever that was on Coyote Pass, and which is nice. And then, Kody and Meri start to squabble a little bit, and Meri has an issue with the way that Kody is looking at her, so she can't even like look at him. And it's just so obvious that there's just so much anger there. They basically hate each other. So Meri goes on and on about how she wants to be close to the trees, but not too deep in the trees, and she needs sunlight, but she wants to be close to the trees. It's all very confusing about the trees. And then finally, Kody says, like, well, does anyone have suggestions on what we can do so that the argument never happens again? And Christine's like, yeah, like, I think it's important for us all to be heard, which was a really smart thing for Christine to say. That is true. That's at the root of the problem. Meri does not feel heard, and she's not being heard. And he says, Meri, do you have any suggestions? And she's just like, no. And Meri's like ready to run out the door at this point. And that's the end of the episode. I wonder what else can happen next week. Thank you so much for listening all the way through, guys. Have a great night.